She's talking about Mercury is in retrograde. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but check this out. Back it up. Retrograde like Mercury.
We have heard repeatedly from the Commonwealth prosecutor that we are going to hear testimony that Karen Reed was screaming, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him." So I have clipped together the cross and the direct of all of those officers and firefighters that were first on the scene and could have heard this statement. Since their testimony is so long, I'm going to split it up and put law enforcement in just this video and put the firefighters in a second video that will come out shortly. The first testimony that we're going to hear from is Officer Saraf. He was the first on the scene.
Now, after the fire department arrived and they sort of take over resuscitative efforts with regard to Mr. O'Keefe, what, if any, observations did you make of Ms. Reed and what she was doing or saying at that?
Ms. Reed was visibly upset. She kept saying, "This is all my fault. This is my fault. I did this." And she was very hysterical.
And
She kept asking, "He's dead. Is he dead? Is he dead?"
and with that specific phraseology, that's something that she kept saying?
Yes,
And by your repetitive nature, I'm assuming it was said something that she said more than once, correct?
several times, correct?
And when she's saying this, can you describe sort of how she's saying this? I mean, is it a whisper? Is it a scream? Or is it something?
She was yelling pretty good.
And with regard to her repetitive question, as far as is he dead, what, if any, response did you provide to her in regard to that?
I just said they're doing the best that they can. I don't know.
We hear on direct Officer Saraf stating that he heard Karen say, "This is all my fault. He's dead. He's dead. Is he dead?" repeatedly. Let's hear what he said on cross.
Yes,
You wrote in that report, quote, "Karen Reed kept screaming, 'Is he dead? Is he dead?' She was severely distraught and not able to tell me what happened." Correct?
that's correct.
There. You told Trooper Proctor that you could, quote, "hear Karen Reed continually state, 'Is he dead?' as the paramedics treated the victim. Officer Seraph then seen Karen inside her friend's vehicle." Correct?
Correct.
So the only statement you attributed to my client the day after this incident was those three words, "Is he dead?" that she continually repeated. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. In the two times that you were asked to reflect back on exactly what happened that morning, on January 29th and January 30th, both times you attributed only three words to my client having been repeated continually in her distraught state. "Is he dead?" Right?
Yes.
And she wasn't saying that calmly, I'm assuming.
No,
Matter of fact, you used the word she was severely distraught. Is that right?
that's correct.
When you say severely distraught, we saw part of that on your dash cam. She was emotional,
Yes,
upset,
yes,
focused on John,
yes,
trying to save his life,
yes.
and asking, what was the question that she asked?
Is he dead?
Over and over and over, correct?
Correct.
In fact, on April 14th, 2022, months after this event, for the first time, you said, quote, and these are your words, tell me if I get them right. This is my fault. I don't know. She said, I can't believe this happened. I mean, she kept asking if he was going to die, if he's dead. And, I just basically said, we're doing the best that we could, end quote.
That's correct.
So in April of 2022, for the first time, you attributed the phrase, "This is my fault. I can't believe this happened," to my client, correct?
That's correct.
But nowhere in your official report did you say that.
That's correct.
And nowhere in your interview with Trooper Proctor the next day did you say that.
That's correct.
You think that was a pretty important omission on your part?
It was an oversight.
An oversight.
Yes, sir.
That a woman whom you made contact with, standing over the body of a fallen police officer, said to you, "This is my fault." Just missed that one. Yes?
Yes, I missed it. Yeah, I didn't write it down.
And then, of course, you testified yesterday, and your statement changed again, right?
I don't.
Remember what you said yesterday to these jurors?
I don't. Word for word.
Well, I wrote it down. Let's see if this helps. Yesterday, you said, my client said, quote, "It's all my fault. I did this," end quote.
Yes.
Remember that? Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't say that at the grand jury.
No.
And you didn't say that to Trooper Proctor.
No, sir.
And you didn't put it in your report.
That's correct.
If you were to testify in another 2 or 3 weeks, think her statement would just keep evolving?
Objection.
Sustained.
We've talked a bit about what you did and didn't hear at the scene from my client. At any point when you were at that location, did you hear my client repeating the phrase, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
She said, I hit him? No, I didn't hear that part.
You never heard her whisper it, yell it, say it, or otherwise?
Not that I recall.
If you had heard that statement, you likely would have written it down, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You likely would have reported that to Trooper Proctor the next day, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You likely would have mentioned it in your grand jury testimony, correct?
Yes.
And you did none of those things because you did not hear that statement, correct?
I did not hear that, no.
The defense was able to clearly lay out for Officer Saraf where his testimony had changed. And in the end, he did admit that he had never heard Karen Reed say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. But he did stick to his guns in hearing her say, this is my fault. Next up is Officer Mullaney's testimony.
Chief is taken by members of the fire department over to the ambulance. What is it that you did?
Officer Saraf, at that point, we were trying to identify the victim, so I spoke to Ms. McCabe.
And without sort of anything that Ms. McCabe told you, about how long period of time did you talk to Ms. McCabe gathering information?
Approximately 2 minutes.
And who, if anyone else, did you speak with attempting to gather information regarding Mr. O'Keefe?
Ms. McCabe is the only one I recall speaking to.
Now, as far as the defendant, Ms. Reed, what, if anything, do you recall her sort of doing as you're on scene and as you're going about what you're trying to do?
She was screaming, is that my boyfriend? Is he dead?
When you say screaming in a fairly loud voice, correct?
Very, very loud, yes.
And as far as that sort of phraseology, as far as is he dead, how many times was that something she said? Once, more than once, or something?
Repeated many times.
And with the same sort of volume that she had said it with as you described the first time?
Yes.
Now, with regard to what you heard Karen Reed scream that morning, I just want to make sure I get your testimony correct. I believe on direct examination, you stated that she kept repeating two phrases, one being, is he dead? And the second being, that's my boyfriend, correct?
Yes.
And how many times do you think that she repeated those two phrases?
It's quite a bit, more than 10.
Okay, like almost too many times to count, really.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And each time she said, is he dead? What was her tone of voice?
She was screaming very loudly.
Each time she said, is that my boyfriend? What was her tone of voice?
Same.
And you got there not long after Officer Saraf, correct?
Correct.
In any of during the time that you were on scene and you heard Karen Reed screaming and yelling in this distraught and hysterical manner, you never once heard her say, I did it, correct?
I did not.
You never once heard her say, it's my fault, correct?
I did not.
You never once heard her say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, correct?
I did not.
If you had heard any of those statements, you would have recognized that those would have been important to note, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you would have noted those in your police report, obviously, correct?
Yes.
Because you know that when you are drafting a police report, you want to include all the important details, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you want to be precise and accurate, correct?
Yes.
And so you didn't put those statements in your report because you never heard those statements come out of Karen Reed's mouth.
Yes, sir.
So Officer Mullaney only heard her say, is he dead? And that's my boyfriend. And he testified to that on direct and cross. Lastly, we're going to hear from Sergeant Good. He is the last police officer to testify as to what he heard Karen Reed shout that morning.
Prior to placing her in the back of the cruiser, how would you describe her sort of demeanor outside?
Confused, hysterical, shock.
What, if anything, was she saying or asking in regard to Mr. O'Keefe prior to you putting her in the back of the cruiser?
She was yelling out, is he dead?
And is that something she said once, more than once, or something?
Numerous times.
About how loudly was she saying?
Oh, she was yelling it.
When you parked, you left your motor running, correct?
Yes.
And when you got out of your cruiser, one prominent sound that you heard was Karen Reed screaming at the top of her lungs, correct?
Yes.
She appeared to be in distress.
Correct.
She appeared to be crying.
I did not see her crying.
She was hysterical.
Yes.
She was very loud.
Yes.
And you could hear her yelling throughout that morning, could you not?
Correct.
While you were on scene at 34 Fairview for an hour and 40 minutes, did you ever once hear Karen Reed say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
I did not.
And you wrote a report regarding this, correct?
I did.
You are trained over your 18 years that you include every important detail in that report, correct?
Correct.
Certainly a statement by Karen Reed screaming out, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, would have been an important detail that you would have included in your report, correct?
Yes.
You do not intentionally omit, I should say, any important details from your report, correct?
Correct.
Did not include that language, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, in your report, correct?
Correct.
And the reason you didn't include it is that you never heard those words come out of Karen Reed's mouth, correct?
Correct.
That is the testimony of the 3 officers that were present during this time period where Karen allegedly screamed, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Now, even though Officer Saraf's testimony of this is all my fault is slightly different than the other 2, he still does not testify to the fact that she said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. My next video, we're going to go over the firefighters / paramedics. It's a lot longer, so I'm still putting it together, but it should be out shortly. See you guys on the next one.